intimacy of touch with moon in Dhanishta Nakshatra. Touched with love, caring, and nurturing at physical, mental, and emotional levels. With the moon in Dhanishta, touch is resonance before reaction. It is rhythm before closeness. You don't respond to touch unless it arrives with internal alignment and outer grace. Touch must move like music, intentional, clear, and patterned. For you, physical affection is not random. It is a choreography of trust, autonomy, and mutual respect. Dhanishta, ruled by the Vasu Deities and symbolized by the drum, holds a sacred link between timing, vibration, and inner authority. Your emotional body doesn't just crave connection, it craves coherence. You respond to touch that knows where it's going, that lands with clarity, rhythm, and purpose. The wrong timing? The wrong tone? You pull back, not to punish, but to protect your self-honoring pace. You want to be touched like someone knows the music of your soul, not just the surface of your skin. A slow, certain hand on the back, a steady arm across your shoulders, a held gaze before any contact. Your moon needs touch that mirrors your dignity, not bypasses it. When emotionally attuned, you are warm, magnetic, and physically generous. You may pull someone close at the perfect moment, synchronizing your affection with their need without a word. You ground others with your touch, offering stability when their world feels uncertain. But you offer nothing under pressure. Touch given too soon, too carelessly, or with manipulative undertones triggers your instinct to retreat into autonomy. Your sensuality is tied to space, rhythm, and trust. You are not afraid of intimacy, but you demand it be mutual. You long for touch that aligns with your inner code. Not clinging, not chaotic, but sovereign and certain. The right touch calms your ambition and reminds you that you are already enough, even when you're not producing or leading. To deepen this intimacy, say, I open most to touch that respects timing. It must be clear, clean, and present, not rushed or performative. Or, physical affection feels best to me when it honors both our space and our connection, like a shared rhythm. And allow yourself to be touched when you're not ready in the mind, but already yearning in the body. Let the warmth enter before you analyze it. Let your partner's presence slow your pulse. Let affection be music, not just motion. Because when touch becomes not invasion, but invitation in rhythm, when it says, I see your strength, and I want to meet it with care. Your Dhanishta moon finds the intimacy it's quietly designed to create, a love that dances with you in sync, one beat at a time. Intimacy of sensate with moon in Dhanishta Nakshatra, to be heard, seen, tasted, smelled at physical sensory levels. With the moon in Dhanishta, sensory connection is rhythmic, refined, and coded in clarity. You don't just feel through the senses, you interpret, measure, and respond in tempo. The sensory world is not just aesthetic for you, it's a field of resonance. You're not easily swayed by flashy sights or dramatic sounds. What moves you is coherence, a voice that matches its message, eyes that land and stay, a scent that carries emotional precision. Ruled by the Vasus, deities of light, wealth, and brilliance, and symbolized by the drum, Dhanishta is a nakshatra of cosmic rhythm. You tune in like a musician tuning to a scale, exact, aware, and alert. For you, intimacy through the senses means not just stimulation, but alignment. The environment, the tone, the mood, it all has to strike the right chord, or your moon starts to close its gates. You are most awakened by sensory cues that arrive cleanly. Someone's honest tone of voice, measured and calm. The way they dress with confidence and precision. A soft soundscape or silence that carries intention. These sensory gestures don't overwhelm you, they entrain you. They let you feel that what's happening is real, not a distortion, not a projection, not a performance. In return, you offer a sensory presence that is often magnetic and composed. You move with purpose. You speak with a cadence that's steady, even if you're being playful. You notice details others miss. You might remember the smell of someone's skin during a vulnerable moment, or the sound of their laugh when they first opened up. Your sensuality is anchored, not reactive. You don't chase impressions, you wait for resonance. But when sensory signals feel chaotic, too intense, or emotionally misaligned, your moon contracts. Loudness without meaning, affection without emotional clarity, erratic energy. These don't entice you. They disorient you. You retreat, not because you don't care, but because your body is protecting its rhythm. To deepen this intimacy, express your sensory pace. Say, I connect most when the environment is calm, the tone is clear, and the energy feels clean. Or let your presence match your words. Then I can hear you through all my senses. And allow yourself to soften into sensory pleasure that isn't planned. Let beauty move you before you've labeled it. Let a kiss surprise you. Let your partner's voice be music instead of data. You don't have to control the tempo at all times. Because when sensory intimacy becomes not stimulation, but symmetry, when it meets you with rhythm, space, and truth, your Dhanishta moon finds the intimacy it was built to resonate with. A connection that says, I see the structure of your soul. I hear the pulse beneath your silence, and I will meet it, not with noise, but with signal. Intimacy of kindness with moon in Dhanishta Nakshatra. Approach should always be one of kindness and compassion, giving each other space to be individual and unique, yet caring and nurturing. With the moon in Dhanishta, kindness must be respectful, rhythm-aware, and clean in intent. You are not drawn to affection that overwhelms or sentimentalizes. You respond to kindness that is structured, intentional, and attuned to timing, a kind word spoken in the right moment, a small act of support that doesn't interrupt your sovereignty. For you, kindness is measured devotion, not emotional excess. Dhanishta, ruled by the Vasu, celestial beings of brilliance, abundance, and law, brings a moon that values integrity over indulgence. You are warm-hearted but self-directed. When kindness comes your way, you want it to feel earned, not owed. Not because you need to prove your worth, but because you equate emotional generosity with mutual accountability. You open to care that respects your time, your independence, and your need for quiet calibration. You offer kindness through consistency, presence, and thoughtful generosity. You remember your partner's needs before they voice them. You offer support when they're faltering, but you don't hover. You give space when someone is processing. You create a container in which their full self can breathe. Your kindness is not just soft, it's anchoring. What you resist is care that feels chaotic or ungrounded. When someone tries to be nice while emotionally dysregulated or offers comfort that lacks follow-through, your system recognizes the dissonance and retreats. You don't want to be smothered. You want to be respected and known in your ambition, your solitude, your fire. Real kindness for you is when someone doesn't try to fix your intensity or outshine your structure, but instead meets you in it. They offer you warmth without making you small. They witness your drive without demanding you slow down. They show up, not with grand gestures, but with emotional timing that says, I see you. To deepen this intimacy, say, I receive kindness best when it comes with clarity and respect. You don't need to soften me, just walk beside me with steadiness. Or care for me in rhythm with who I am, not who I'm expected to be. And allow yourself to receive care that you don't have to earn. Let someone offer gentleness without assuming you're weak. Let a kind gesture land without analyzing it. Let love move toward you, not because you've done everything right, but because you deserve to be met, even in your strength. Because when kindness becomes not emotional caretaking, but measured, mutual presence, your Dhanishta moon finds the intimacy it quietly respects, a love that says, you don't need to be less to be loved. You can be fierce, focused, in motion, and I will still be here, offering you the one thing even strength needs, steady, conscious care. Intimacy of growth with moon in Dhanishta Nakshatra, allowing each to grow at their own pace, yet being self-honoring by allowing themselves to be loved and nurtured, even if it means with other partners. With the moon in Dhanishta, growth is not a rebellion, it is a refinement of rhythm. You are not threatened by change, as long as it has structure, purpose, and clarity. For you, growth is most intimate when it is witnessed without interference. You don't need to be shaped. You need to be supported as you shape yourself. You offer this same honoring in return. Dhanishta, ruled by the Vasus, radiates the wisdom of disciplined expansion, movement that aligns with soul timing. Your moon doesn't leap without awareness. You evolve through dedication, rhythm, and occasional bold leaps, but only after internal alignment. What you require from your partner is not permission, but trust. Trust that you know your own timing. Trust that space is not separation, but syncing with a deeper beat. You offer this same allowance when love is clean. If your partner grows spiritually, emotionally, or relationally, even in directions that diverge from yours, you don't panic. You observe, you adapt, but you expect truth in return. You don't fear growth, you fear disharmony without acknowledgement. Evolution is fine. What you can't abide is silence around it. You are capable of respecting dynamics that include external nurturing, including with others, as long as the emotional agreements remain intact. For you, intimacy is not about ownership. It's about rhythm and respect. You only begin to pull away when your sovereignty is threatened or when the emotional tempo becomes erratic and dishonest. You need your own cycles of immersion and independence. At times, you'll move deeply into partnership, offering devotion and structure. Other times, you'll step back to rebuild yourself in silence. You expect to be loved not just for what you offer, but for how you grow. To deepen this intimacy, say, I don't grow in straight lines, but I grow with integrity. I need space to refine without being doubted. Or, if you're evolving, just speak it. I don't need to control your growth. I just want it to harmonize with honesty. And allow yourself to be loved mid-process. You don't need to master the next version of yourself before receiving care. Let love in while you're still figuring things out. Let someone witness your transition without you needing to wrap it in perfection. Because when growth becomes not distance but rhythmic divergence that returns to alignment, your Dhanishta moon finds the intimacy it's built for. A love that says, grow in your tempo, rise in your beat. I won't rush your change or fear my own. We'll meet again, not because we match, but because we move in truth. Intimacy of activity with moon in Dhanishta Nakshatra. To be honoring of oneself and the other in what and with whom they want to participate in activities, without force or compulsion. With the moon in Dhanishta, shared activity must have rhythm, relevance, and resonance. You don't engage in action just to pass time. You engage because something about the movement feels productive, structured, or soul-aligned. For you, intimacy through activity is about harmonizing energies, not mirroring motions. You don't need a partner to do everything with you. You need a partner who moves with clarity and respect for tempo. Dhanishta, ruled by the Vasus and symbolized by the drum, gives you a natural affinity for timing, pattern, and discipline. Your emotional body syncs best with people who know how to create without chaos. You may be highly active, goal-oriented, socially present, creatively charged, but only when your internal rhythm is protected. You are most connected when shared action feels co-creative, not compulsory. You thrive in partnership when activities are chosen rather than expected. Planning a trip together, building something tangible, working side by side on separate goals in shared space. These are the expressions of sacred synchronicity that calm your emotional field and invite deeper trust. Even physical intimacy to you is an act of energetic timing. You don't respond to force. You respond to intention that lands cleanly. You do not mind independence in activity. In fact, you welcome it. If your partner needs to move alone, pursue something apart from you, or opt out of a shared experience, it doesn't unsettle you, as long as the connection remains clear. What disorients you is not separation in space, but disconnection in rhythm. If someone begins drifting without communication or engages in erratic, unanchored action, your moon instinctively withdraws. When you engage, you give your whole presence. You're capable of devotion in the smallest acts, rituals, routines, and daily rhythms. You're also capable of excellence in your own pursuits without needing your partner to mirror your style. You ask only that each person's choices honor the shared tempo, with trust, not pressure. To deepen this intimacy, say, I feel closest when what we do together flows naturally, not from duty, but from resonance. Or, we don't have to move the same way, but we do have to honor each other's movement. And allow yourself to engage in unstructured joy, too. Not every activity has to lead to success or symmetry. Let spontaneity shake the frame. Let your partner's rhythm pull you into something unexpected. Let love remind you that improvisation is part of harmony. Because when activity becomes not demand, but dynamic participation in shared timing, your Dhanishta moon finds the intimacy it was built to hold. A love that says, we don't have to always move in step, but we must move in trust. I will honor your pace, and I trust you'll honor mine. Together, we'll compose something that's real. Intimacy of allowance with moon in Dhanishta Nakshatra. To allow each to be who and what they are at any given moment, day, or week of their life, knowing that one is not a master or slave of another. With the moon in Dhanishta, allowance is non-negotiable for intimacy. You may be generous, reliable, and magnetic, but underneath it all, you are deeply sovereign. You need to be allowed to move at your own pace, recalibrate without question, and return to yourself without interference. To be loved well, you must first be trusted to lead yourself. Dhanishta, ruled by the Vasus, deities of brilliance, rhythm, and cosmic wealth, imparts your emotional body with a steady tempo and inner governance. You don't react impulsively, you listen inward. You choose your response based on timing, alignment, and inner ethics. And you ask that others honor your right to move without being micromanaged. You are not unpredictable. You are patterned, but internally timed. You may suddenly go quiet, dive into your work, seek solitude, or switch social gears, and your intimacy depends on being met with respect, not suspicion. You want a partner who can say, "I trust your rhythm. I don't need to chase it or fix it." You offer the same freedom in return. You don't need your partner to reflect you. You need them to respect themselves. You admire those who can self-regulate, who stay true to their beat, even while loving you deeply. You don't ask for control, you ask for coherence. What erodes intimacy for you is when someone assumes authority over your internal cycles, when they panic at your need for space or question your silence as rejection. You aren't pulling away from love. You're returning to your center so you can show up more clearly. That process must be allowed, or your emotional system starts to seal off. Allowance to you is not disconnection. It is discipline of love. It says, "I won't force your bloom, but I'll be here when it opens." It is an intimacy built on trust in each other's process, not on performance or proximity. To deepen this intimacy, say, "When I take space, it's not a test or a withdrawal. It's rhythm. I need to be allowed to return to myself without fear." Or, "I don't want to be mirrored. I want to be respected. Let's love each other without reshaping each other." And allow yourself to be met, even when you feel far. Let someone stay present beside your silence. Let them wait at the edge of your rhythm with openness, not fear. Let their love honor your autonomy, not bypass it. Because when allowance becomes not distance but mutual emotional sovereignty, your Dhanishta moon finds the intimacy it quietly requires. A love that says, "You are not mine to manage. You are yours to move as you must. I will honor that movement and meet you again with rhythm and reverence when the time is right." Intimacy of giving with moon in Dhanishta Nakshatra. Knowing and being that all love originates in the act of giving, safety of space, nurturing and caring. With the moon in Dhanishta, giving is a matter of rhythm and integrity. You don't give from impulse, you give from alignment. Your love doesn't overflow in random emotion. It flows in calibrated, intentional devotion. You give as one who knows their value and therefore gives selectively, precisely, and powerfully. To you, love is not just an expression, it's a structure, a form of emotional music that requires the right timing to truly land. Ruled by the Vasas, celestial beings of light and rhythm, Dhanishta blends generosity with leadership. Your giving is not loud, but it is unmistakable. You show love through follow-through, through protection, through quiet gestures that signal, "I haven't forgotten you." Whether it's a moment of undivided attention, an offer to help before it's asked, or the discipline to stand strong when your partner is overwhelmed, you give with honor and steadiness. You don't give in order to receive. You give because you are tuned to what needs to be offered. You listen to the gaps, you feel what's missing, not for recognition, but because you understand rhythm. You understand how two people can complement, carry, and coordinate energy. But what you require is that your giving be respected, not consumed. When your efforts are taken for granted, or when your offerings are met with emotional disarray, you become still. Your moon shuts down, not in bitterness, but in silent recalibration. You will not give where there is no rhythm. You will not give where there is no respect. You offer not just emotional warmth, you offer emotional grounding. Your love stabilizes. Your presence clarifies. You are the one who makes space feel safe, not because you rescue, but because your very being reminds others that strength and care can coexist. To deepen this intimacy, say, "When I give, I do it deliberately, not out of obligation, but because I care deeply. I give what is needed, not just what is easy." Or, "I need my giving to be received with presence, not praised, but understood." And allow yourself to give even when it's simple, even when it's small. Let your acts of care be fluid, not always measured or perfect. Let yourself give without needing to hold it all together. Let your love move without fear of being overlooked. Because when giving becomes not a role, but a rhythmic offering of devotion, your Dhanishta moon finds the intimacy it was born to hold. A love that says, "I give because I see what we are becoming. I give because I want to be in step with you, in silence or in song. I give because your presence matters enough to make my care deliberate, real, and enduring." Intimacy of receiving with moon in Dhanishta Nakshatra. Knowing and being that intimacy is an act of receiving with gratitude and originates in the inner feeling of being abundant in giving, receiving another at all levels, physical, emotional, and mental. With the moon in Dhanishta, receiving is an act of emotional calibration. You are not closed, you are conscious. You don't receive out of politeness or passivity. You receive when what is being offered lands in rhythm with your inner world. Your heart listens for tone, clarity, and timing, and when it's right, you let it in deeply. But if care arrives out of sync, rushed, imbalanced, or tangled in emotional chaos, you instinctively shield. Ruled by the Vasus, the shining beings of cosmic light and order, Dhanishta values dignity in all exchange. You give so much: structure, grounding, leadership, loyalty. But for you to feel safe in receiving, it must come without agenda, obligation, or ego. You are most moved by offerings that are clear, quiet, and clean. A warm gesture made without drama, a thoughtful word said without expectation, a steady presence that doesn't demand performance. You are not emotionally rigid, you are emotionally tuned. You feel what is real and what is rehearsed. You can accept immense support, tenderness, and even surrender when it is offered with respect for your sovereignty. You are deeply grateful when someone truly sees you, anticipates your needs, and shows up, not to fix, but to offer alignment. You receive best when the space is uncluttered, when there is emotional rhythm, not emotional noise. You don't want to be flooded with affection that feels performative or intrusive. You want care that is precise and anchored, just as you offer it. When you do allow yourself to receive, it is transformative for both you and your partner. Your gratitude is not loud, but it is profound. You mirror back understanding, presence, and respect. You don't just accept love, you affirm it with rhythm and steadiness. To deepen this intimacy, say, "I receive best when what's given is clear and sincere. I'm not closed, I'm careful with what I let shape me." Or, "Let your love arrive gently and cleanly. That's when I can fully let it in." And allow yourself to receive without explaining. Let yourself be held when you're tired. Let someone else take the lead without needing to prove you're fine. Let their rhythm meet yours without fear of being overpowered. Because when receiving becomes not surrender, but soul-level attunement, your Dhanishta moon finds the intimacy it was designed for, a love that says, "I know how to carry others. But today, I allow myself to be carried, not because I am weak, but because I trust your hands know the beat of my heart."